Salute, salute, salute. You know, saving face has really been a detriment to people who watch certain videos and they'll see a situation. Oh, let me get this. All right, there we go. They'll see a situation, right? And they'll think, well, it's not that bad. This person doesn't seem like they're struggling. The situation that they're in could easily be mine. And if it does end up being me, and if I keep going down this path and I end up like this person, it's not that bad because this person doesn't seem to be doing too bad after losing something vital, such as a job, a career, a place to stay, your car. And this is what you see a lot with these videos. And you're going to let me just play the video. Let me just play the video. Let's go.
Me on my journey. Hey, you guys, come along with me on my journey. Day 2 of being unemployed.
Now remember, this is day 2 of her being unemployed. Let's go.
So, we don't gotta get into details, but yeah, they fired me. Attendance purposes, inevitable. That's actually another story time for something that happened last year. But basically, to give y'all a little synopsis of what happened over the course of while I've worked here. Outside of work, though, not inside of work. Work was work. So I got my car stolen in July. That was fun. That's a story, actually. Got my car stolen. He stole my car in a place where I thought was very suburban, was very Caucasian. Why are you doing these ghetto activities here?
Well, for one, let me set the record here. People who normally steal cars, right? Especially if they're looking for uh decent cars or high price cars, they're not going to steal them in the ghetto. Unless you're looking to steal hoopties, they're not going to steal. They go to these areas that are of certain stature, right? And that's where they scout for cars. So they wouldn't necessarily, look in a ghetto and try to steal a car, Just like, if you're a burglar, I would think you're not trying to burglarize anything in the projects, right? you're gonna go in there as a burglar and you're gonna leave with more with less than you came with. I don't know. Do they even still steal cars? I remember back in the '90s, that was a thing. You remember there was a movie called New Jersey Drive where it focused on people stealing cars. Do they still steal cars? I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of stories about cars being jacked. There's so many things now. Alarms. Motion stops. You could just press a button and the engine just shut down. There's so many things now with these cars. Also, the GPS system. you can locate the cars now. I don't know. Are they still stealing cars? I don't know. But let's get back to it.
Then, next day, well, he tried using my card. Me and my friend who was helping me, we went to the Walgreens that he tried to use my card at. I'm a private investigator, so I found out which Walgreens it was.
Right.
Called the cops. And then what happened? Called the cops, and then they said he's actually in a speed chase right now, because he just hit a lick. Basically, he was doing an armed robbery in my baby. And for those of you who don't know, my car, rest in peace. Her name was Black Miss Per Black Kitty Meow.
The Streets. Your car was named
Moving
The Streets.
During all of this, I had a roommate from hell.
Roommate?
Was my best friend. Is no more. Yeah, and that's another story time. Anyway, moving on. So I basically ended up being homeless because nobody wanted to pay their rent.
Poor.
Why did I do that? Well, I was a former people pleaser. Yes, I was.
Day 2 of being unemployed. All this happened before you was unemployed?
I've retired.
All this happened before she was unemployed. Because she said this is day 2 being unemployed. She's leading up to her being unemployed. So all this happened. Okay, all right. So your car gets stolen. Your roommate or roommates, whatever, is not paying any rent. So now you're homeless, no car. Let's go. What else?
Moving forward. So, in the midst of me being homeless, I had to miss work, obviously, to get some shit done, right? And, that's what led to my termination. But I see it as a blessing. I see it as God just making room for what's to come, right? Because I was getting complacent. I was getting very stagnant at that work. There's many things that I want to do. I want to become a stylist, interior decorator. I want to be involved in the fashion world. I want to do a little modeling on the side, maybe a little acting, maybe some stand-up comedy. Who knows?
It's time to go to La La Land.
You big dummy.
It's time to totally.
Poor.
That's
There we go. It's time. Do you hear this? It's time to start dreaming. It's time to start dreaming. First of all, the modeling world is brutal. The modeling world is brutal. I done read about what goes on in the modeling world, how they rate, rituals, things, egregious things they have to do in order to be accepted, connections involved, and I'm talking about actual modeling. Not on the cover of some ratchet magazine. I'm talking about actually modeling, right? And also, comedy is hard to break in. Comedy is hard to break in. Any comic would tell you that they had to pay their dues. Some of them took like 10, 15, 20 years before they got their big break. Acting? I'm not saying these things are impossible, but are they probable? It's time to go to La La Land. That's essentially what she's saying.
And this is now I have the time to do that. So come along with me on my journey.
Man, what journey you talking about, man? Journey to the shizzy, the shelter. Listen, for all you dudes, for all these dudes, I'm talking to these dudes that was in the comment section of this video. You got dudes in there saying, you'll be all right. You're so pretty. I'm reading the comments now. You're so gorgeous. You don't even need to be working. These are from dudes.
You big dummy.
These are from dudes who would, jeopardize what they got going on to save her. Let me tell you something, Duke. Let me tell y'all something. She decided she didn't want to build with any of y'all. She didn't want to build with any of y'all. Matter of fact, she probably had dudes like y'all in the roster as food. Got a guy she can call for food, a guy she can call for rides, a guy she could call for tizzy tours, a guy she can call for just straight conversation, a guy she could call for, money, a guy she could call just to ask for money. She probably had you guys in a rotation as just guys that do things for her, right? But she never thought to build with any of one of these guys. Like, hey, you know what? It's time to start a relationship, build from there, and start something from scratch. The reason why they don't do these things is because they see no value in you guys. You guys in there caping, they see no value in you guys. They don't see any. They only see what you can do for them. That's it. That's it. You're a mark. You're a buster. That's all you are to them. So when she did have a chance to be with a productive guy like y'all, right? Because you're probably a productive guy, right? When she had a chance, she said no. She'd rather have roommates with other women. She'd rather have roommates. We see this all the time. She'd rather be roommates instead of building with a guy and they have their own place, right? She'd rather have roommates. And the thing about when women get together and they're roommates, right? There's really no discipline there, especially when it comes to finances. It's just spend, 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 spend. They did a survey. They did a survey. They asked women who had boyfriends and who were married, were they spending less money now that they would have, now that they with their boyfriends and their husbands, or were they spending more or less money with or without their boyfriends or husbands? The women said they were spending less money when they got with their husbands and their boyfriends. We talking about 85 to 90% of the women said they spent less money. Why you think that happened? Why is that? Why is that? I tell you why. Because usually the guy is in charge of the finances. No matter if the woman makes more, no matter if they make around the same, no matter if he makes more or less, he usually is in charge of the finances. Why? Because that's what we do. We pay attention to the money. This is how men look at it. We look at, wait a minute, our combined income is such and such. We're spending more than we're saving. So if we have a combined income of $10,000, right? And at the end of the month, right? At the end of the month, when we look at what our expenses are, if we can't account for $5,000, $4,000, we don't know where that at. We $3,000, we don't know where that money went at. Oh, it's a problem. Oh, it's a problem. $2,000, we need to account where $2,000 went. It's a problem. We're going to be like, whoa, wait a minute. Where this money go? You see, they don't do that. They don't do that. It's just spend, and they don't look at what they spent and what they took in, how much money they saved, how much money they invest. We know they don't invest, but how much money they save. And when you look at it, you be like, wait a minute. You made this amount of money. What do you have to, at the end of everything, after all this done, after all your bills is paid, where's the money that you have supposed to have saved? That's us. That's what we do. That's what we do. That's what we do. You don't see wives getting evicted. You don't see wives being homeless. You know why? Because she's married. Because she's married. So all you guys in there caping, she would not deal. She would not she would not want to do it. She wouldn't want anything to do with you because social media tells her and her ilk that getting with a man, right? Getting with a man makes them weak. Depending on a man makes them depending on a man makes them less than. That's what they're told all the time. You don't need a man. A man will hold you back. This is what they're told all the time. And here's the thing. Ask a lot of these women, right? Ask a lot of these women what happened to their friendships once they got, once they got a boyfriend, once they got engaged, once they got married. A lot of women lost friends when they got engaged, married, in a committed relationship. They lost friends. You know why they lost friends? They lost friends because they looked at them and said, wait, you're abandoning us. You're supposed to be with us. That's how they look. You're supposed to be getting old with us. You're supposed to be getting old and smelling like mothballs with us. You're not supposed to be happy in a relationship. You're supposed to be roommates at 60.
You're done.
They see you happy in a relationship. They see you going on vacations. They seeing a man providing. Your car break down. He comes to get the car. He tell you, here, just take my car. I'll fix the car. I get the car fixed. When they see things like that, oh, no. They despise you. They despise you. Wait a minute. You got with a man and you're less stressful. See, the new thing now is getting, well, not the new thing. Let me backtrack. The thing is getting with a man, right, is stressful. That's what they've been putting out there. Now that they don't have a man, now that they divorced, it's less stress. How is that when y'all still going through the same thing, right? Over and over again after you divorced, after you decided to disengage from the guy that you with. How come y'all are always, more often than not, going through struggles after the marriage, after the divorce, after the breakup? How come you still getting evicted, right? How come you still in debt, right? How come you still taking prescription medication, right? How come you still going through all this after the marriage? Because you know why? You don't want to admit that it was not him, it was you. Anyway, salute. Peace. Stay in the shadows.
You big dummy.